We are on YouTube Live and WIBW.com Live, so we're all over the place today. Here's what we have. A tornado watch has been issued going until 9 p.m. for a lot of northeast Kansas. Marshall County is in this, all the way to the Missouri state line. Topeka, Lawrence, Emporia, Osage City are in this. Council Grove, you're just to the west of the higher humidity levels and most likely staying out of the tornado risk. Here's Supercast. This is the HRRR model, which may be jumping ahead. Now there we go. It's still firing storms along the dry line, and by 6 p.m. it wants to bring them close to Highway 75, and then by 8 or 9 o'clock it's gone. So Supercast, this is a really high resolution model. Sometimes it's overly specific, so a supercell like that or like this, just because it puts it exactly there doesn't mean that's where it will be. It's just the trend, the pattern expects to happen, and kind of the timing. So if you see one of these supercells in the model go over your house 3 hours in advance, don't worry too much about that. Just keep in mind the pattern that is showing us where the more dangerous weather could be. Here are the surface wind gusts in Topeka, still straight from the south at 44 miles per hour, dew point 80, so plenty of humidity and heat in place. The dew point in Topeka is now 59, Emporia 62, but the dry line features where you drop off from close to 60 to close to 50, where that drier air is showing up. So the dew point values give us a good idea of where the weather could be the worst, where it drops off from the high humidity to much lower values. So there are the storms in Nemaha County. The worst of this has now moved over into Nebraska, and we even had a tornado emergency just the west and just the north of Omaha over the last hour and a half or so. It's a confirmed tornado still as it goes into Iowa, but it's no longer a tornado emergency from what I just last saw. The jet stream pattern right here is a trough shape above us, a dry line down here with us, and the trough is shaped, it's negatively tilted, which means it tilts off the southeast here. The trough is just like the ones the animals eat out of. It's a trough, it holds things basically, but you can see the shape of it there, that's the trough. So in this situation, you have the trough, and the base of it is negatively tilted, meaning it points off the southeast. What that means to you is that it tends to make tornadoes more efficiently than a trough that's shaped kind of straight down to the south. So the storm in Nemaha County, once it made it into Nebraska, became a tornado warning. Down to our south is a tornado warning that's in place in Woodson County and Allen County at this point as well. So we zoom out, you'll see we're kind of surrounded. There's a confirmed tornado with this storm over here. One's north of Omaha. We had confirmed tornadoes in Wilson County earlier. And right now we're still kind of surrounded with tornado warnings on both sides, just outside of what we consider to be our coverage area. If somebody gets us on antenna or watches us live on Webstream from Nebraska or down into Wilson County, then we don't go all out for those storms usually. We try to keep them here in northeast Kansas. So by 6 p.m., again, Supercast keeping the line of storms close to Highway 75. By 8 or 9 o'clock, this is a threat for Missouri and not a problem for us. But again, we have this tornado watch going until 9 p.m. for a big chunk of our area. We're in the 60s tonight with scattered storms. There's still a tornado risk. And tomorrow has a more significant risk over a larger area and has Topeka and Wichita kind of in the bullseye of this. So this yellow area is a 10% risk from the Storm Prediction Center, and they don't just kick out 10% risks for fun. If they put out a tornado risk like that, then they're serious. And if they put out these black hash marks, it means they think that EF2 to EF5 tornadoes are possible. Today, for example, we had a tornado emergency just the west and just the north of Omaha, which apparently has done a lot of damage. I haven't had time to really evaluate that as we're evaluating our own situation here. But if you have friends and family just west or just north of Omaha, you may want to check on them, make sure they're doing okay. Again, I don't know how bad it is at this point. WOWT is our sister TV station up there, so if you want to check out coverage from them, it's a WOWT. They would have coverage of that going on, but I haven't had a moment to check it out, obviously, because I'm dealing with our mess here. Saturday through the day, this is the significant risk of severe weather and tornadoes. Some of the big stuff forming right on top of us, also stuff in Oklahoma feeding to the north. Then we'll have temperatures tonight basically in the 50s to low 60s behind all of this system. Let's go back to the beginning of my weather graphics show here and go back through these again. I want to check out the radar. I'm trying to figure out how unstable the atmosphere is between this green line and Holton and Topeka, because the computer models and the wind direction they were showing it was coming in from the west or southwest in some of those spots. So if it starts coming in from the southwest, it will drop the dew point enough that it might bring down at least some of the risk. I'm looking at a model here. I can actually back you up so you can see it too with me. All right, here we go. This is from a page called rap.ucar.edu is what this is. So we're looking at south wind at the surface there in Topeka, southwest in Manhattan still. Dew point in Topeka is 59. I think last hour it was in the low 60s. So either way, this skinny green line right here from near Onega down to the Alta Vista and Volland area to just the eastern part of Morris County, that's the dry line is what it looks like to me. The thing is that later tonight, the dry line will start retreating and going back farther to the west. So right now, this threat is going to be anywhere to the east of that skinny green line right there. If you're west of this, Manhattan, Clay Center, Concordia, you're not dealing with the threat of tornadoes the rest of this evening. If those areas farther to the west where the wind has really shifted to the southwest and the humidity is much lower, you are highly unlikely to see any sort of dangerous weather the rest of this evening. So, but if you're close to Highway 75, Topeka, Osage City, Emporia, still concerned about seeing storms developing very close to or even kind of right on top of us here. We'll bring up another site here. Show you guys. Okay. If I can get that one to load. Check out the high resolution visible satellite. All right, I'll jump back to it in a moment. Down to the south, this is across Woodson County. That's Woodson right here. There's Anderson County here. Then we get to Greenwood County over here. So Greenwood, Woodson, and then Allen. So we're south of Coffee County and south of Anderson County. That storm did produce a tornado a while ago. Now it's a tornado warning, but it's not a confirmed tornado on the ground. To the north, we've got Nemaha County still in a severe thunderstorm warning. We had a tornado warning with the same storm after it crossed the state line over into Nebraska. And you can see the hook that was developing actually near Seneca at first. And now you have the hook getting close to Schubert, Nebraska, making its way to the northeast. But near Oneida, over to just southeast of Seneca, that storm has hail the size of golf balls, as the National Weather Service is indicating as a possibility with this one. And I want to zoom in on the satellite imagery, and I'm going to show this to you here as well as I'm kind of looking at it with you. All right, I'm going to back up to the beginning of the show here, beginning of my graphics, and we'll check out this visible satellite. So this is across northeast Kansas. Put the counties on here as well. There we go. And let's put the cities on, then you know what you're looking at. All right, U.S. cities, there we go. All right, so this looks like it's actually backed up quite a bit. I'm watching to see if anything develops out ahead of the initial line of storms. I don't see anything just east of Manhattan at this point, but that's where it would be developing at this point. It's just east of Manhattan, not in Manhattan, but east of Manhattan, and on up to the Seneca area. So not like I want to see on that one. It's not helping a lot. But again, the skinny green line here, that's where the problem is. That was the one that will set off some of these severe storms and tornado risk. Again, northeast Kansas doesn't have any tornado warnings at this point. You have tornado watch until 9 p.m. for a lot of the area. And the one warning we have in the WIBW coverage area is this one, a severe storm warning with the potential of hail the size of golf balls and winds up to 60 miles per hour. And that's moving into the northeast part of Nemaha County shortly. Down to the south, that's tornado warning for Allen, Neosho, and Woodson County at this time. And in between, again, we're watching this dry line feature to see if it sets anything off. It's possible storms to the south may be eating some of the moisture up and keeping the instability down here. That'd be great. That might be why it's shutting down some of the stuff that's over us. That would be wonderful if that's the case. All right, let's see if I can. All right, tornado watch till 9 p.m. Back on the supercast. Now we're past 4, so the supercast not ingesting the 4 o'clock hour properly. The storm's already in place from Seneca to the southwest part of Nemaha County, and then a tornadic storm that's down in Woodson, Allen County, so it's not showing those right. But the line by 6 o'clock should be close to or east of Highway 75, and once we get past 8 or 9 o'clock, this should all be gone, leaving us maybe an isolated rain shower tonight with the severe weather threats much lower or minimized by then. And then tomorrow we have a more widespread risk. So the winds on the surface map are from the south in Council Grove, south in Emporia at this point. Humid air still filling in to Topeka. a temperature of 80, so we have high humidity and temperatures close to 80. Concordia is a bit cooler at 74, but the humidity is much lower. Dew point is just 48. And again, this dry line feature that's right on top of us is part of what sets these off. The dry air, the reason that the dry line makes a difference at all is humid air actually weighs much less than drier air. The H2O molecules are heavier than O2, or lighter than O2 molecules, a part of it. But basically, the dry air that comes in from the southwest undercuts the humid stuff, sends it up in the atmosphere, pulls a thunderstorm, makes the thunderstorm pop up, and then the jet stream pattern with this negatively tilted trough, all that can help it to produce the tornado risk. Again, we had a big tornado just to the west and north of Omaha a little while ago that's now moved into west central Iowa. So for us, again, big trough, a big negatively tilted trough in the jet stream pattern coming through today. We'll have another one tomorrow and likely see even more active weather. Right now we're kind of surrounded on both sides with tornado warnings to our north, tornado warnings to our south, and so far we haven't had this stuff filling in northeast Kansas, thankfully. So I'll go back to the single site here. It's not going to show all the radar stuff. It'll show you all the warnings. You can see up here there's a red and white. That's a confirmed tornado near Omaha. These white polygons are all tornado warnings right now. So there's one to the south and then at least 5 just to the north of us. There's an active day with tornadoes going on. Unfortunately, they're kind of staying around us and not on us, but if we were to see one, it would pop up along or just east of that line. So you can see another storm popping up now in the southeast part of Nemaha County. It will ultimately move into Brown County. So that could become the next warning. So Brown County heads up. These storms are developing fairly quickly, and the farther north they get into Nebraska, they've certainly started to rotate and cause problems with tornado warnings. And at least one big one that touched down there in eastern Nebraska a little while ago. By 8 o'clock, this should all be done with, and then tomorrow we'll have the threat of more severe weather and even more dangerous pattern with the jet stream and the surface map, as the dew points that right now are kind of dropping from west to east. We'll see the dry line move through. Later in the night, we'll see the dry line retreating back to the west and setting us up for more storms and likely a tornado risk tomorrow. The Storm Prediction Center had us in a risk of this 10% area for today, but it just had kind of a small bullseye from Topeka almost to Des Moines. Look at this bullseye for tomorrow. It's from just south of Omaha all the way to Texas. That's a very big area. So when they say 10% risk of tornadoes, that's a big deal for the SPC. Anything that's above 0 is a problem. If we get 5% tornadoes, we usually have a few of them around our area. Once you get to 10%, that's even more dangerous. But once you put these black hash marks on it, they're indicating EF2 to EF5 tornadoes are possible. I'm just saying we might have a small tornado. They're saying big tornadoes are possible is what those black hatch marks mean. So tomorrow, scattered storms from 2 or 3 p.m. all the way into the evening hours. Some of these will be severe. We're likely to have some tornado warnings out of this tomorrow. We could see a tornado touch down. We could still see one this evening. We're seeing if that line actually develops. At this point so far, we've had hail about the size of baseballs was possible in Nemaha County earlier. And at this point, we have that new storm developing in southeast Nemaha County that's moving toward Brown County that could become a problem shortly. But other than that, we don't have any warnings in northeast Kansas. There's one in Nemaha County right now for golf ball size hail, and I'm fairly sure that the next few minutes we'll have another warning developing that will show up in Brown and probably the eastern part of Nemaha County, just judging by the way the radar looked as it was building in the southeast part of Nemaha County a few moments ago. All right, the satellite again showing this stuff is developing, and so far the warnings we have are just this one that's in Nemaha County. We'll zoom in back on this. I'm going to end the live stream for now. We'll continue to pop on with these throughout the evening until, if we actually have a tornado warning, we'll go continuously for hours if we need to. But right now, the only warning we have is this one that includes the northwest part of Brown County and the northeast part of Nemaha County. And the Weather Service said hail the size of quarters is possible, of golf balls is possible with this. Now, the storm that was in Nebraska a few minutes ago that came out of Nemaha County does have a tornado warning with it. And what I'm watching is the stuff that's near Goff at this time in Wetmore could become the next severe storm, or could become even a tornado warning. So we're watching this stuff down here as it develops and move off to the northeast. All right, we'll break off the live stream right now. Again, that's the only warning we have going in northeast Kansas. The tornado watch goes until 9 p.m. for a lot of us, and anything along and east of that skinny green line still has a risk of severe storms and even tornadoes through at least 9 o'clock. We'll have more of this going on tomorrow. Stay with us. We'll be on 13.1 and WIBW TV for Live at 5 in a few minutes. You can always check back in here on YouTube, Facebook Live, and of course the WIBW live stream. We'll have all that stuff going on throughout this evening.